He mentions how it always turns out to be an old man in a mask, but sees that they are obviously zombies and that this is not the case this time. He goes on to say that he has to hide and that no one ever thinks to look in a barrel. Of course, this final echo recording from him is found next to a dead body under a barrel with its legs sticking out. His behavior, inherited from Scooby-Doo, obviously failed him. Another example is Dirk Smallwood, who is used to mock the machismo of standard heroes in action stories, as he thinks he knows everything and plans on killing the zombies by shooting them in the heart. He even points out how improbable it is to shoot them in their hearts by calling them in no way responsible for their ability to survive heart. He is also called Dirk Smallwood, obviously to make a dick joke to emasculate his type of character further.
Hit these bastards where it hurts them the most. In their no longer beating and in no way responsible for their ability to survive heart. What time is it? 8 o'clock? Swell. There should be no problem getting this dealt with before my Manny and Petty at 9.
A final connection to be made here is there are different classes of zombies in Zone 1, as there are the stragglers who are locked in place and regular zombies. In the Zombie Island of Dr. Ned, there are multiple classes of zombies as well. There are regular zombies, defilers, which do not attack with their hands like regular zombies and instead spew bile, so they're more stationary, similar to the stragglers, except they still attack. There are psycho zombies, which are undead bandits, torsos, which are literally torsos that are crawling on the ground and attack at your legs, midget zombies, self-explanatory, suicide zombies, which are large and explode if they get close enough to you, and lance zombies, which are soldier zombies. Now we have come to the grand finale of this film. It is time to teach something more than just how the game is postmodern and how connections can be drawn to other postmodern works. It is time to explain how video games may be the best medium for postmodern ideas. I will be sure to explain how, although there may be similarities of points for books and films, there is something extra that pushes video games ahead. Firstly, an important postmodern idea is dealing with what is real and what is simulation. Video games provide interaction. Players become involved in the simulation, and as games become more and more realistic with even more ways of interaction, such as through voice commands or the movement of your body, and the fact that 3D is also possible, the line of simulation and reality becomes less distinct. Video games currently have the issue of Uncanny Valley, where characters can look and act so real, yet not quite, that it causes a disturbance for the viewer. If this idea can be overcome in video games, which is coming closer and closer for story-based games that focus on character interaction and behavior, then the world of video games may just be as relevant as reality. Video games are like postmodern concerns come to life. Although films have 3D, the lack of interaction creates a distance between the viewer and the presentation. This distancing cannot be overcome, and although that can present some feelings of alienation, which are of course important to postmodernism, it does not allow for a true experience of the feelings of postmodernism. There is no participation. Watching is a passive act. Reading is a passive act. But video games are involved. It takes input. This can allow a back and forth on the issues of postmodernism. People can make their own decisions in games based on their own view, which can change the story of the game. If postmodern concerns are presented in a game, players can interact with them and make their own decisions. It is not just the vision of a writer or a screenwriter and directors and others. Video games are entirely collaborative. Just as novels are half the writer's work and half the reader's, video games are the same, but even more so, as their decisions can change how they perceive the game, while a novel will always be the same no matter the interpretation. Concerns with technology are also a cornerstone of postmodernism. What better way to deal with the implications of the power of technology than through something that could not exist without it? Every medium could not exist without certain pieces of technology, but video games are entirely wrapped in the technology of the future. Processors, video cards, RAM, etc. The implications of what technology can do is video games. Technology can now simulate a reality, although it is not perfect. To question the power of technology is very postmodern, and the great irony would be the presentation of that concern through video games, something entirely constructed from that technology that could later create that which people fear, a reality that is unknown. The implications of that can only come from video games. Despite games needing a player, the world of certain games can change without the player. Time continues on in some games now, even when people are not playing, and I'm not just speaking on massively multiplayer online games. Games such as Fable 2 and Animal Crossing. In Fable 2, money is earned whether the player is there or not. The clock continues and time marches on in the game world in some of the respects. The same holds true for Animal Crossing. If you do not play for some time and you return to play again, the characters will comment on how they've missed you and how long it has been. No other media could know whether you've seen it recently or not. I hope you take much from this film, and if the Star Wipes bother you, just take note that Simpsons did it.